Today we're going to do a little test. Hey guys, here we are at Summit Point. I'm in the USF 2000 today, and I want to test out a little theory. There's nothing worse when you have a rolling start, and once the race starts, your tyres are cold, and you stuff up the first corner, and you either take someone out or someone takes you out. And I want to test out a little theory. There's the difference between weaving and braking as a method to warm up the tyres. I got a message from Jonathan Ricard, it was a month ago now, and I've been working on this theory slowly, and he says weaving doesn't really help the tyres in iRacing, but if you drag the brakes on the pace lap, you'll improve tyre temps a lot. And yeah, I just wanted to use this video as an example. So I'm accelerating, braking, there's a little bit of weaving, but you can see the guys in front, they're weaving. And I want to know what is the most effective way to warm the tyres in iRacing. So here we go. I'm going to do it very simply. All I'm going to do is use the garage, no extra telemetry programs or anything, something nice and simple. And we're going to look at the last hot pressure and the last temps. So I'm going to start from the pits, and I'm going to go all the way around the track to the last corner, and going to try weaving on the first one, and we'll check out the numbers there. And we'll also try the same thing, exactly the same track length and everything. Try and make it as valid as possible with just braking but no weaving at all. So let's try the weave first, eh? So I'm going to try not to use my brakes at all.
The pit lane speed limit is 72 kilometers per hour.
So imagine there's a couple of cars in front, and we're going to weave. So it was 117 pressure and 59 temp. Alright, let's imagine we're in the pack and can't use the whole track. And we're going to weave and weave and weave. And I used to basically do this a lot. This was a way. And I've had comments for the last, well, pretty much since the F3 was the sprint category. But it doesn't really do anything. I think Steven actually used the Motec telemetry. This might seem a bit too much with the steering wheel going all over the place, but it's all in the name of science. If I weave myself, I'll warm myself up. So I'm actually going to pull my foot back and not use the brake at all. Because there's one thing, there's a bit of a disadvantage, especially with a big pack, is weaving, and you don't know exactly how much the guy next to you is weaving, and it's a high chance of a collision. And you'll notice the guys up front will be pretty much not just driving straight. And I used to think, oh, you know, they just must be aliens and able to drive on a cold tire. But yeah, ever since Jonathan said ride the brakes, that's pretty much how I've been warming up, and the car feels pretty good. So we're going to go to that dirt right there. So we'll back to the pits. What a paint job. Rightio. So the last hot pressure actually went down, and it pretty much stayed stagnant, didn't it? So 59 was the temperatures, and it's only changed a couple of degrees here and there. Interesting. Interesting. So the pressures have actually gone down while doing all that waving. Now, in real life, you go to a racetrack and you watch them, they're really just leaning on the car to create friction on the tires and warm them up. And they'll accelerate hard, and then they'll slam on the brakes and accelerate hard and slam on the brakes. And I'm using V8 supercars as a good example. You can really see the front end going up and down as they're warming up. So I don't like their base brake bias. I've been using 54.9 this week. Now let's see if we can do the same thing with no waving, but riding the brake. So using the brake pedal and the accelerator at the same time. So yeah, when a lot of rolling starts lately, I've seen the leaders, it just looks like they're just cruising around waiting for the race to start. But I've never actually tested this out before. You see the telemetry there. I'm trying to use the accelerator and the brake without locking up. I'm trying to do an extreme of both. By pushing the car and slowing it down at the same time. And I'm actually quite keen to see what the results are, to be honest. I've also found with this method, stay in my lane, using both pedals at the start really helps you at the last corner watching the leader rather than sitting there waiting off the throttle and waiting to watch that leader take off so you can take off it as early as possible. I've noticed that you can have both pedals on, and as soon as you see that leader take off, it just seems to have better performance by releasing the brake because your foot's already on the throttle. What I'm on about 75% there. Alright, we're going to stop at the dirt and jump straight out of the... There's my skid mark. Right, and it didn't lock up there either, did it? So, there's temperature. Okay. So, temperature-wise, my rears, and I've got the bias further back, temperatures, pressures have gone up on the front, and temperatures have actually gone down quite a lot. Very interesting. Now, iRacing doesn't show brake temperatures But there's also that theory of residual heat within the brakes is actually warming the tires as you're going along. I can't really test that, but I find those numbers really, really interesting. It's not as much of a difference as I thought it would be, but there is significant percentage-wise. We actually lost 1 kPa on the front. We're doing the braking method. We've gained, over the weaving method, we've gained 4 and 5 kPa. It's only a little bit, but when you're competing with the guys up front, it's the 1%ers that get you a few spots at the start of the race. And those few spots could be the most important part of that race, where instead of having a few guys in front of you, you know, that are slower, if they're behind you, then you can focus forward. So I hope that helps, guys. Let me know what you think. What method do you use? I'm going to stick to this method with the braking, not so much for this performance difference or tire pressure and temperature difference, but more the fact that I'm reacting a lot quicker to the leader by releasing the brake and taking off, rather than really having nothing, waiting to take off and then accelerating. Find the car's performance with both pedals. So you could actually mix it up. Very, very interesting. The tires in the rear, 52 degrees on the outside of the tire and 56. Very, very interesting. Oh, thumbs up if you liked it, guys. Thumbs down if you didn't. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I'm having a bit of a hiatus at the moment, only posting a few videos, but I'm starting to work on a theory that this will be my format going forward. A couple of races, and if I find something in iRacing, I want to expand my iRacing tips library. Go check out the playlist over there, and yeah, not too much, not too little. If you enjoy it, I enjoy it as well. Have a great day, guys. See you next time. Bye.